Hello students, and I am Mr. Rohan Chogle, and today we are here to study some asymptotic notations and time-space trade-off in data structure. So as in previous lecture, we have studied the space complexity, time complexity. So I hope you understand the concepts related to the time complexity and space complexity. So here, let's start with the asymptotic analysis. What is this asymptotic analysis? This asymptotic analysis is refers to defining mathematical foundation or framing of its running time performance. That is, this asymptotic analysis is nothing but it is a simple mathematical foundation or framing of algorithms runtime performance. So this is just we are putting the runtime in mathematical framing. This is nothing but asymptotic analysis. Using this asymptotic analysis, we can very well conclude a best case, average case and worst case scenario of an algorithm. So with the help of this, we can calculate the best case of an algorithm, average case and worst case of an algorithm. Basically, this asymptotic analysis, whatever we are studying, this asymptotic analysis is input bound. So it is bounded to the input. So if suppose there is no input to any algorithm, so it means that we conclude that algorithms work in a constant time. Okay, suppose we have written one algorithm, and for that algorithm we are not going to give any input. All the values are constant. So the running time for that algorithm is constant. Okay, if we give the input, then accordingly the running time of that algorithm changes. That is input bound. So here in this case, our asymptotic analysis is there. That asymptotic analysis is input bound. So other than input, all other factors are considered constant. So in this asymptotic analysis, in this case of asymptotic analysis, the time required by algorithm falls under the three cases. So what are that three cases? So first case is best case, second one is average case, and third one is worst case. So let's discuss this. What is meant by the best case, average case and worst case? So simple definitions are there. So basically the best case is nothing but it is a minimum time required for execution of a program. So best case is the minimum time required for program execution. Average case, it is the average time required for program execution. And last one is worst case. So what is meant by worst case? So worst case is nothing but it is a maximum time required for program execution. So best case is nothing but it is a minimum time. So in minimum time, so in what minimum time the program is executed is considered as a best case. Average then it is an average we have to calculate with the help of best and worst case. This is nothing but average case, and last one is worst case, that is a maximum amount of time required for program execution. This is nothing but worst case. So these are three basic definition or a simple definition. So let's next point, that is asymptotic notations. So basically or commonly there are three notations used in asymptotic notations. So these three there are three notations used in asymptotic notations. Which are they? First one is big O notation, second one is omega notation, and third one is theta notation. Okay, so these three notations are used to calculate the running time complexity of an algorithm. So to calculate the running time complexity, these three notations are used. So let's discuss these three notations one by one. So first one is big O notation. So what is this big O notation? So this big O notation basically is used to express the upper bound of an algorithm's running time. So to express the upper bound of an algorithm's running time, we use this big O notation. O of n is used. So this big O notation is used to measure the worst case time complexity. So what is meant by worst case, worst case is nothing but maximum amount of time required for program execution. This is nothing but worst case, or you can also call it as a upper bound of an algorithm's running time. Okay, or we can also say that this big O notation is it measures the longest amount of time an algorithm can possibly take to complete. So these are the things related to the big O notations. Next we are having the omega notation. So basically this omega n, this notation is used to express the lower bound of an algorithm's running time. So this notation is used to express the lower bound of an algorithm's running time. Or we can also say that this notation is used to measure the best case time complexity. What is meant by best case? It gives the minimum amount of time required for program execution. So this is nothing but best case. So this omega notation is used to measure the best case time complexity. Or you can also say that this omega notation is used to measure best amount of time an algorithm can possibly take to complete. So it gives the best time, as I said, best amount of time. And last one is theta notation. What is this theta notation? So this theta notation is a formal way to express both lower bound and upper bound of an algorithm's running time. So this gives the lower bound as well as upper bound. So in short, it is used to express the average running time of an algorithm. So these are three basic notations. Big O notation, which express the upper bound, or we can also say that worst case or maximum amount of time required for algorithm for execution. Next one is omega notation. This is used, this expresses the lower bound of an algorithm, or we can also say that best time, it measures the best time complexity or best amount of time an algorithm can possibly take to complete. And last one is theta notation. It expresses the both lower as well as upper bound of an algorithm. Okay, so this is nothing but three simple notations available in data structure. Okay, and last we are here to I have shown or I have listed some asymptotic notations which are commonly used. So first one is constant O of 1, then logarithmic O log n, linear O of n, and so on. We are having n log n, then we are having quadratic notation, cubic notation, polynomial notation, and exponential notation. So just go through all these notations which are commonly or which are common asymptotic notations. Okay, so this is about the asymptotic notation. So next, let's discuss what is meant by time-space trade-off. As we know that we write an algorithm. Okay, so and while writing algorithm, we have to use the data structure. Okay, so that is each of our algorithm involves a particular data structure. But while writing an algorithm, it is not possible to write efficient algorithm always. Okay, because while writing algorithm, we have to consider the data structure, and again the choice of data structure is depend on the many different things. Okay, the different things like type of data structure, data type, then the frequency with which the various data operations are applied. So such as different things are we have to consider while selecting or while choosing the data structure, and because of this we always may not able to write very efficient algorithm. So again while choosing the data structure, as I said, different things are involved. So time space trade-off is again one of the thing which involves while choosing the data structure. So what is meant by this time space trade-off? Basically by increasing the amount of time, so this time space trade-off is nothing but by increasing the amount of space for storing the data, one may be able to reduce the time needed for processing the data, or vice versa. That is, while writing algorithm, one may be able to increase the amount of space required for storing data. He may be able to reduce the time required for processing or execution of data. Or vice versa means by increasing the amount of time required for execution, one may be able to reduce the space required for storing the data. This is nothing but time space trade-off. So in short, you can increase the space to reduce the program execution, or you can increase the time for execution. You can able to reduce, or you can reduce what I said ki you can increase the amount of space for reducing the execution time, or you can increase the amount of execution time for reducing the space. This is nothing but time space trade-off. Okay, so let's see one simple example so you can easily understand the concept of time space trade-off. So just consider we are having one firm, and in that firm we have to keep the record of the employees which are working over there. So the record may contain the employee name, then his social security number and other related data. So in this case, just consider while storing the data, here I have shown one file or table. In that we have employee related data. So here we are having first column shows the name of an employee, second shows the social security number, and third some extra information related to that employee. So here if we look into the table, so this table is arranged alphabetically, that is the entries of an employee are arranged alphabetically. So here if we have name, if I give you name and if I say that just find the details of an employee of name Davis, that is we have to find, suppose we have to find the record of Davis. So as I said, this table is arranged alphabetically, so it is very easy to find the record with the help of name. So just as I said, we have to find the Davis, so we just will go to the first column, and in that we'll search the name, and it is arranged alphabetically, so we'll easily get the name Davis, and accordingly we collect the data, that is social security number and some extra information related to the Davis. But the second case we are having that, suppose I am having the social security number only, and with the help of that social security number I want to find the record, or I want to fetch the record of that particular employee. So in this case it is very difficult to find the record with the help of social security number, as this file is not arranged with the help of social security number. So how to overcome this, or how to solve this problem? So to solve this problem we have one solution, that is what we are going to do, we are just simply creating two different files of this record. So first file is arranged alphabetically, and second file is arranged with the help of social security number. So here we are going to create two different files. As I said, here in this case the first file is arranged alphabetically, whereas the second file is arranged with the help of social security number. So in this case it is very easy to find the record. Now suppose we are having the name. So let's let's discuss one simple example. Suppose I want to find the record of Davis. So as we are searching the employee information with the help of name, so we are just going to search the same in the first file, because the first file is arranged alphabetically. So we'll go to the first column, in that we'll get the name Davis, and in front of Davis we are having pointer which points to his related information in the second file. So in the second file we are having all the information related to the Davis, or related to the employee, which is arranged in according to social security number. So it will point, so when we search the Davis, it will simply point to the first location, we'll move it, so we'll point to the first, and in the first we'll get the all information related to Davis, that is social security number and other extra information. Suppose we are having the name Brown, so again we are searching from with the help of name. So we'll go to the first file. Here we get the Brown. Brown is pointed to the fourth location in the second file. So in the fourth location we'll get other related information to the Brown. So this is a very easy way to find the record of an employee with the help of name. But as I said, in previous case we had issue that it required more time to find the name with the help of to find the record with the help of social security number. But in this case we are having the source. Suppose we want to find the record with the help of social security number. So suppose I want to find the record I want to find the record of an employee having social security number 17462 and 3485. So this is one social security number. I want to find the record of this social security number. So I will just simply search in a second file, because second file is arranged with the help of social security number. So I will start searching in the first column, and at the fourth location I will get the social security number 17462 3487. So here I will get the record of that employee. So his name is Brown, and other related information will get over here. So it is very easy to find the record in both cases, that is with the help of name as well as with the help of social security number. So if we look in this case here, as compared to previous case, in previous case we had only one file, so amount of space required to store this file is less, but searching time is more. And in second case we are having two files, so the amount of space required to store the data is more, but in this case searching time is less. So this is nothing but time space trade-off. In first case less space but searching time is more, and in second case more space but searching time is less. This is nothing but time space trade-off. So this is a simple concept. I hope you understand the concept of time space trade-off. So let's take a quick review what we have studied in this lecture. So in this lecture we have studied excuse me, we have studied the asymptotic analysis. This is asymptotic analysis is nothing but it is a mathematical foundation or framing of algorithms running time performance. So here in this case we get the best case, average case and worst case scenario. So best case is nothing but minimum time required for program execution. Average case is nothing but average time required for program execution, and worst case is nothing but maximum amount of time required for program execution. Next we have seen the different notations, that is we have seen the big O notation, then omega notation and theta notation. This big O notation is formal way to express upper bound. It also measures the worst case time or longest amount of time an algorithm can possibly take to complete. Again we are having omega notation. It expresses the lower bound, and also it measures the best case time complexity or best amount of time an algorithm can possibly take to complete. So this is a omega notation. And theta notation, it expresses the both lower bound as well as upper bound. That is big O notation express the upper bound, omega notation lower bound, and theta notation it express lower as well as upper bound. Then I have listed some common asymptotic notations, that is constant, logarithmic, linear, quadratic, n log n, cubic, polynomial and exponential notation. Then next we have studied the time space trade-off. We have seen the definition: by increasing the amount of space for storing the data, one may be able to reduce the time needed for processing the data, or vice versa. So to clear this idea, we have studied one simple example where we have stored the record of an employees. In first case we have stored the record of employees in alphabetical manner. So in this case it is very easy to find the record with the help of name, but it is quite difficult to find the record with the help of social security number. And in second case we have created two different files. First file is arranged alphabetically and second file is created with the help of social security number. So in this case it is very easy to find the record with the help of name as well as with the help of social security number. But in first case as only one file is there, so amount of storage required to store this file is less, but in this case the execution time is more, and in second case space required is more but execution time is less. So this is nothing but time space trade-off. First case we have reduced the space but time for execution is increased, and in second case we have increased the storage space but execution time is less. So this is nothing but time space trade-off. So I hope you understand all the concept related to the time space trade-off and asymptotic notations. So in the next lecture we'll discuss the linear search. Okay, thank you.